Hey there and welcome. Are you a woman who is unapologetically ambitious, but you're also deeply focused on honoring God, loving your family well, and pursuing meaningful work? Well, you've come to the right place. My name is Dana Byers, and you and I are going to be fast friends. Let's get started. Before we get started today, I want to take just a moment to share with you a recent Google review that I received from Amanda. She is a client who is in my 10-hour confidence transformation course, and she's had one-on-one coaching with me. She says, "My coaching experience with Dana is amazing. Dana did such a great job of listening and reflecting back to me what I was saying. She helped me overcome a small annoyance that was taking up a lot of time in my brain and my day. I can't wait to work with her again." Amanda, thank you so much for these encouraging words. Listen, if you could use this type of help, join the Dana Byers coaching community. Go to danabyers.com/get coached for details. Well, hi, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Been There, Learned That. I am your host, Dana Byers, and in today's episode, we're going to dive into a topic that I think many of us experience, but we rarely talk about. It's something called success intolerance. I want to talk about overcoming success intolerance and how to avoid the self-sabotage that you might be experiencing in your work life, in your career, your personal life, and how to embrace progress so that you don't quit when you're doing a really good thing. You see, success intolerance is a real thing. In fact, I found out I was struggling with it myself about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. So if you've ever found yourself pulling back just when things are finally going your way, this episode is for you. We're going to unpack what success intolerance is, how it presents itself in our lives, and most importantly, how to push past it without hustle to fully embrace the success that God has for you. So probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, a fellow coach and I were having a conversation, and she helped me realize that I was dealing with something I'd not really heard about before, and that is success intolerance. And success intolerance is discontinuing or rejecting or stopping something that's actually working after we're experiencing success. And it's due to our inability to accept that success. It's essentially self-sabotage. It's a tendency to maybe hit the brakes right when things start going well. So you might be thinking, there's no way I have success intolerance because I really want to succeed. I really want to do well at work. I want my relationships to be healthy. But let's take a look at what intolerance means, because the definition of it is really just an unwillingness or maybe even a lack of capacity to accept the new views, the new beliefs, or the new behaviors that differ from where you used to be. So if you're starting to experience success, you're going to start to see yourself differently, and other people will see you differently. And you're going to have to allow your brain to agree with the new circumstances. You're going to have to step out in faith and trust what God is doing around you. So when something is basically off from the way that you subconsciously view yourself or the world. Let's say, for example, something goes really well for you at work, and it might make you so uncomfortable and you think you don't deserve it, that you're not going to accept it, or you're not going to accept maybe a compliment, or you might receive a promotion but struggle to really perform in it because you doubt that you could actually do it well. So success intolerance can be a close cousin to imposter syndrome, but really I want to talk about the intolerance, because that is when we sort of deflect or push away the compliment or the promotion or the new client in our business, or we discount what happened. We think, okay, that was a fluke. Maybe it just happened this one time, but I'm not actually meant to do this, or I'm not actually going to be able to sustain this type of progress, growth, or success. So you see, success intolerance isn't really going to kill us physically, but it will kill our dreams if we let it. So I'm going to give you this real life example. So my brain didn't really feel very comfortable with the rapid progress that was happening with Dana Byers coaching with my business early on. So I nearly pushed the ejector seat on my business acceleration ride. And that's because everything was moving faster than I had planned on. Everything was going better than I thought it might. I had new clients coming in. I actually had revenue. My coaching was being refined in ways that I had always dreamed about. My clients were getting results. These were all things that I anticipated, but not as quickly as they happened. But instead of celebrating those wins, I became anxious. I was scared. I started having worrying thoughts. What if all of this comes crashing down? What if I can't keep up with this? Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all. And even saying all these things to you right now feels so uncomfortable to me. I feel like I need to just even take a deep breath as I express that to you, because I feel the discomfort. Even though that was a couple years ago and I really worked through it, I still feel that discomfort and almost I'll use the word agony of thinking about if I had stopped the journey I was on. I feel the vulnerability of admitting exactly what happened. And here's exactly what almost happened. I almost self-sabotaged my dream of starting this coaching business. And I feel the power, if you will, of accepting that non-conscious choice I made. I wasn't unconscious, but I wasn't very aware that I was making that choice. So it was non-conscious. I just kind of went through the motions. I was picking up the pieces. I was trying to get back to this work that I love because the business that God called me to was happening just as I had prayed for. It was working out, but my mind had difficulty adjusting to that reality. So like I said it was a non-conscious choice because I don't believe that I would have backed off so quickly on my business if I had really recognized what I was doing consciously, if I really was aware at that point. But I just didn't yet see it for what it was. It was hesitation. I had fear that I had cloaked in reason or, being reasonable or realistic. So I was letting the fears I had, I was calling them, hey, let's be smart about this. Let's be wise. And that's important, but I was also letting it really hold me back. I really started getting myself stuck because sometimes when the thing that you wanted starts happening, maybe it's success at your job. Maybe you're seeing progress in a project you're working on. You're seeing a relationship improve. You're starting to see health improvements. Once those things are in motion, it can actually become overwhelming for you. That is success intolerance. And you might be thinking, okay, but so didn't you get exactly what you wanted, Dana? Didn't you want to start a business that worked? Well, yes. Yes, I did. It was all coming together. After years of wanting to see a venture of mine work out, I started getting a little bit spooked. But I have compassion for myself. I know that that's not just me. I believe a lot of women experience this fully, maybe without recognizing what's happening, like I didn't at first. So think about it. Sometimes women meet a great guy. They want to date him, but then suddenly they convince themselves that he's too good to be true and they need to end the relationship before it becomes difficult for them. Sometimes a woman goes down a size in her favorite pair of jeans and she panics. She starts turning to stress eating instead of maintaining the healthy habits that she worked so hard to develop to get to that point. And sometimes at work, we maybe land that promotion and instead of stepping into it with confidence, agreeing with the people who promoted us, we actually shrink back, thinking that we don't deserve it, and we become hesitant in our leadership. And so my point is that self-sabotage can show up in so many areas of our lives. But the good news is it's not inevitable. It's not something that we have to inevitably quit what we're doing. We just have to become aware of it. So long as our motives are pure, if we are living out the desires that God has placed on our hearts, if we're working on those dreams that align with what He has invited us to, we don't have to be afraid. You see, when success starts showing up, we just have to be careful not to despise it or reject it. Instead of letting that fear and doubt come in, we can allow ourselves to step into what we've worked for, step into what God has provided, and then we don't have to subtly reject it or push it away, or I guess for lack of a better term, suck the life out of it. Despising our desires and self-sabotaging our success, it's allowed because God lets us operate in free will. So that's kind of my warning here. And it's what I experienced temporarily, because if we're not careful, I know that it's easy for us to lose the progress that we were so focused on gaining. So personally, what I did was I shifted my fear about success over to a focus and intentionality on making sure that I didn't get myself into a position where I experienced the regret of not trying. Regret is something that concerned me much more than failure. So I was able to shift my focus on, I would regret not trying this in my business. I want to keep going instead of I want to pull back and anticipate failure coming in the future. So to help me with that, I got some accountability and some support to maintain my success, to really take a look at my daily behaviors and the thoughts that I was experiencing and how those translated into feelings and actions and the results I was getting. So fighting that imposter syndrome became easier as I gained confidence in my new level of progress. In fact, one of the tools I really used on this, the thought model, is specifically taught to you through a video in my online on-demand course, the 10-Hour Confidence Transformation. So if you want to learn more about that, check out my course and you will learn a lot more about the thought model, which is one of the tools that I use to help me as I walk through that season. So once I really embraced that intentional approach, I started taking more calculated risks again. And guess what? My business started picking up speed again. I was able to navigate it in new, fresh ways without as much fear and with more energy and enthusiasm for what God was doing. I was able to get back in alignment with what He had invited me to. And I want you to know you can do the same as well. You can hold the line when you are facing success intolerance. You can stay the course without burnout or sliding back into your previous identity, into the beliefs that you can no longer be the person that God is inviting you to be. So if you're resonating with what I'm talking about in this episode, I encourage you to take some time to reflect on where success intolerance might be showing up in your life. And let's not despise the very things that we have prayed for, the very things that we have been working towards intentionally. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today as I shared with you a little bit about this vulnerable journey of Dana Byers coaching, because success intolerance is something that many of us struggle with, and we will face it throughout our lives in various arenas. But the good news is we don't have to let it hold us back. If you would like some more tips and resources on how to grow in your journey of faith, purpose, and success, be sure to visit my website at danabyercoaching.com/free for some valuable downloads. And I will see you next time. But until then, keep chasing the dreams that God has placed on your heart. Are you a Christian working woman who is looking to boost your confidence and transform your life? Well, I have got just the thing for you. My online course, the 10-Hour Confidence Transformation, is available now. This course is designed to fit into your busy schedule and provide you with actionable strategies to increase your confidence. Plus, with your purchase, you will get access to a private monthly group coaching call where we can connect and grow together. Get all of the details right now at danabyercoaching.com.